I have tested out a bunch of ways to retrofit your old tilt wand blinds to make them smart. And all of them work pretty good, but in today's video, I have a brand new product that costs much less. That is with the Switchbot Blind Tilt. Now, this is on Kickstarter right now. The funding ends pretty soon, so if you want it, you better check it out right now. You can get one for about 50 bucks and a pack of 3, I think for $169 that comes with 3 of these, as well as a hub to get it connected with all your smart voice assistants and a remote so that you can then control them manually. So today I'm going to show you the tilt blind. They also sent me a humidity as well as a temperature sensor, so you could use that to make some automations. Here we have the Switchbot remote, and then again, you do need the Switchbot Hub Mini or one of their hubs for them to be connected to the internet. So you could use them over Bluetooth, but if you want the full control, you definitely need to get the hub. So let's go ahead and get this unboxed and set up. So here's the Switchbot Blind Tilt. Down here, you'll see that it does have a solar panel included, which is really cool. And then it will work with Amazon Alexa, Google Assistant, as well as with Siri shortcuts. Then IFTTT works with SmartThings and Line Clova. Here on the side, you simply need to download the Switchbot app, install this on your existing blinds, and then calibrate and enjoy. And so you can easily use this with a remote, or you can use the blind tilt, get the hub mini, get the meter, and use a Switchbot and all the different Switchbot devices available. Now in here, there are quite a few different pieces. So here is the main Switchbot there. Then here it does come with a power cable where you can charge it up. It does take a few hours to charge up, but it could last 10 months. This will help you during the setup. Here we have the instructions that are very important. Now this will attach to the headrail of your blind. And here we have the solar panel. And from what I can tell, you do have to use this to get these working. At the top of the solar panel, you'll see this little dot. That is the light sensor. So you can have it automate based on the light outside. And here we have these different sizes that will attach to our tilt wand. And then on top of those, we will have this little gear crank that will allow us to get them working. So now let's go ahead and go through the install process. So here we have the blind tilt. Now, one of the first things I want to mention is Switchbot says to install this on the left side of your tilt wand. And here you can see that I am at the very end of the blind. So with these, it doesn't work the best, but it does work. So if your tilt is in any other place, it should work fine. But here on the very left side, it will be a little snug, and then we'll have to attach this little headrail thing and have the wire come out this other way. Not quite as seamless as I would like, but it does the job. So the first thing we're going to do is take the alignment sticker and measure our tilt wand. So here we're going to just take this, wrap it around. Now there's a hole that we slide it through, and there we can see it is at the large setting. So we'll use the large adapter. Then the next thing you want to do is take off this little piece of tape, and you're going to attach it where the bottom of this rectangular part is going to be at the bottom of your valance or blind, and that's where we're going to attach the little tilt wand adapter. So we're going to choose the large, remove the 3M adhesive from both sides, and then right where that ends, that's where I'm going to place this. So I'm just going to wrap it around and hold it there for about 30 seconds. Now remove this. Next, we're going to take the coupling, attach the little metal part here so it opens up, and then we're going to attach it to the adapter right here, and then squeeze it closed and latch the coupling, just like so. Next, we're going to take the solar panel and the blind tilt, and we're going to plug in the USB-C to the port right up here on the top. Now, again, you can charge this up first. It says you charge it up for like 6.5 hours, and that could last 10 months, or just use the solar panel. So that's what we're going to do. Line this up so that when we twist this little piece right here, it's going to lock on. So it takes a second to get that in the right spot, but you put it on and then you twist it. There we go, just like that. Now we're going to attach the blind tilt to the coupling here. And how you do that is you pull this up And then this opens up. Now we're going to place this in and clasp it shut. So there you can see that it does fit. There is enough room there. But the next step, it wants me to put the headrail adapter over here, but that doesn't really work. So I'm just gonna put it right up here. So now we're going to hold up the solar panel and find out where this is going to go perpendicular up and then attach it there. So let's put it in on that side, just like that, and now remove the 3M paper, and now put that into place. Now there are some screws that you could use to attach this somewhere else. Maybe I could attach it on the inside here if we're gonna try something.
Now I decided to try moving this down and repositioning where this little bracket goes to see if I could get it to work without being on the front of the headrail, but I learned later it didn't work quite so well. But that is the one thing I would like to see maybe slightly different, is not having to mount this right on the valance of the blind. So for now I'm going to put it right here, but you'll see I move it in just a bit.
Now I'm going to take the solar panel and attach it to the window. Just going to take that off. Now I'm going to place it like this so that the window could open as far as possible without hitting this, and then it will be able to not be in the way. So we're going to put it right over here, just like so. And that works great. Now I wish there was a little clip to have this wire stay out of the way.
Before we go to the pairing process, I want to mention that if your blinds do this, it's going to be a problem. You need to make sure that your blinds are operating properly, and you might need to replace the wand tilt mechanism so that they can open and close properly. Over time, some of the clips might break and then it can't have a tight hold. So replacing this will fix that problem. And at this point, I also ran into another issue with the way I did add that mount.
So my plan of moving the cord mount does work pretty good, except for when the blinds are trying to open, it runs into it.
So I then move the mount on top of the valance. Doesn't look the best, but it does get the job done.
Now the next step is to pair this with the Switchbot app. Now I have already set up my hub for all the automations and everything, but now let's go ahead and add the blind tilt. So here in the app, I'm going to select the plus to add new device. On the bottom, if it doesn't show up, you hold that down for 3 seconds until you see the white light flashing. And then I'm going to tap blind tilt. We've already done that. We're going to select next. We're going to give this a name. So we're going to call this family room blind. And now we're going to skip the installation since we've already done that. And we're going to calibrate the blind. So we're actually going to do this manually. So the first thing you need to do is close it all the way down. Now it also mentions do not reverse the tilt or that will mess up the calibration. And close them all the way. So now we're going to open them up. So they're flat like that. Then I'm going to hit next. Now we're going to close them all the way up. So I'm going to keep going until they're closed this way. Looks good. And then last, we're going to fully open them horizontally. Just like that. And then next. And we have finished the calibration.
And that might be the smoothest retrofit smart blind calibration I've ever seen.
All right, now let's test it out. Let's close them up. And now let's open them again. As you can see, they may have not opened all the way, so the calibration might be a little off, so I might need to redo that, but they work pretty great. So at first the install seemed pretty complicated, but in the end it was actually very simple, and it's a pretty cool little device on how this works. Right now I love how it has already been set up and calibrated, but I can still use the tilt wand manually, and it's keeping track of how many turns I turn this. So then when I use the app to close the blind, it remembers what it had been turned, and then it just closes it like it normally would. So I think that's really cool. I haven't seen any other smart tilt that is able to do that. They always have some extra thing you need to do, or you ruin the calibration by doing that. So I think that is such a cool feature. So now that we have it all set up and connected to the app, let me show you different ways in which you can control your blind tilt. Now the first way is simply through the app. So here in the app, you can see our 2 different blind tilts that have been connected. At the top here, you can see what the current position of the blind is in. So right now it's fully open. There you can see it's connected over Bluetooth as well as to the cloud. And then here is the percentage. Now I do have these connected on a shady part of the home. So I haven't seen it charging yet. So I'm gonna keep tabs on that throughout the day and see if I can adjust the position to get it to charge even in the shade, but these windows might not be the best to be able to do that. So we'll open it a bunch of times and see what the battery life is. And over here on the side, we can simply adjust it. And I love how it shows what position the blind is. So I can have it fully closed down there or close up, which is really cool that it has that little animation there, and I can put it to fully open. So next down here, we have the option to close down, fully open, close up. So we can simply touch those and it will go to that. Here we have customized actions. So you can set maybe some of your favorite options. You have 3 that you're able to adjust there. And then here we have the light sensing. So let's go into how that works. So with light sensing, you can actually adjust when they open or close based on how much light is coming into the room. So there's a light sensor on the back. That's why you needed to mount it this way. So if we hit the plus here, we can see if the illuminance gets lower than a level 2 to 10, or if it gets higher than a 2 to 10. So if it's super bright or super low, and then you have the option to fully adjust to open up, open down, or open close. So let's go ahead and do open up. So we'll set it to 100% here. If it gets higher than a level 1. And then we're going to do this. So here you can choose the days of the week, and then you can also adjust when. All right, so here it's automatically going to open if the luminance is higher than a 1. So that's cool that you have that option. Next, you have a delay option where you can set a delay. So this delay allows you to open the blinds in a few minutes. So let's say I put 1 minute and I want the blinds to be open. So that means it's going to fully open in 1 minute. I select save, and now it's already started that timer. And then when that timer is done, it will then complete that action. So there we go. 1 minute later, they automatically opened up. Then the next section that you have here is schedule. So maybe you don't want to use those automations. You just want them to automatically open every day. So if we hit the add here, we have the option to set the hour. So let's say at 8 a.m., do exactly 8 a.m. We can then have it do once, or we can have it repeat. So here we can have every day of the week. We can have them fully open at 8 a.m. So we can save that. And then we would want to create another one where we have them close every day at 6 p.m. So there we can say close down like that and repeat every day of the week. So now those will automatically run at 8 a.m. in the morning and 6 p.m. at night. Now let's check out the settings. So here in the settings, first we have the option to adjust the name, what home you have this in, as well as what room it's currently in. Next, you have customized actions. So on the main page or dashboard of the app, there will show a few actions. Here you can adjust the homepage actions. So you could have it be open and close. So if you want to change that, you can do that there. You also have control page actions. So these are those customized actions you can have on the actual page of the blind. Here you have motion mode. So there are actually 2 different modes. There is a performance mode and there is a silent mode. So let's go ahead and listen to performance mode. And here is the silent mode. Silent mode is definitely a tiny bit slower, and I would say it's not quite as much of a cranking sound than the performance mode, which is nice that you have those options. Next, you have the option to recalibrate if it's not working properly. Here you have cloud services. So here, this is where you can learn about how to get them connected to Google Assistant as well as Amazon Alexa. If you need help connecting those, you can check out the link at the end of this video. Next, we have an option for NFC. So what we can do is get a Switchbot tag. So they sent me this little pack that has 3 NFC tags, some stickers here so that you can label what each tag does. But here we can use this tag to run automations. So under the NFC section, here it says you can pair a Switchbot tag with your device through NFC for speedy communication. So function shortcut, we could have them to be all the way closed. So then here it's showing on the back of your Android device. It could be by the camera or in the middle of the device. So got it. Now it's saying hold that there. All right, so it beeped right there in the middle of my phone that it has been written. So now is what we can do is whenever we're out of the app, we just simply tap the NFC tag and then it completes the automation and it is closing the family room blind. Now, from what I understand is each tag can only have one action, so you could have a few of these in different places. You just simply tap your phone to it and it will complete that specific automation. Pretty cool.
Now let's see what the Switchbot remote will do for these blinds.
So here the Switchbot remote does come with this little adhesive that it is Velcro, so you could place this somewhere and then pull it off if you need to. But here we have a up and a down button that we can use to interact with devices. So there is a little sticky that you need to pull out from back of the battery, and then it is able to instantly pair to the hub. Pretty easy, just follow the instructions, similar with the blind tilt. So next we have the pair with a remote option. So here I've already paired this remote to my Hub Mini, and here you can choose what remote. So I just have one remote. Then you're gonna choose what the bottom button does here. So I have it set to close down, and there I have it set to fully open. So that works really great for the one blind. And then if I push up, it is going to open the blind over there. And then the last few settings here are logs, so you can see when things were actually happening. Here we have a user guide on getting things installed and FAQs. Here you can check firmware version as well as battery life on the blind, and that's the settings of the blind tilt. But now let me show you how to adjust multiple blinds with one remote. So let's go ahead and create a scene for the remote. So we're going to tap on the remote blinds, and then up here it says buttons on a remote can now trigger scenes. Only scenes of manual execution can be added here. So now that we've read that notice, we're actually going to go back and we're going to go to the scenes tab down here at the bottom. So under this, we have the option to create a scene. So here, we can set a condition. Here we have manual execution, so that means when I press the button. So then we're going to add the action. So the action is that we're going to fully open the family room blind, and then we're going to add another action to open the bay blind. Okay, great. And we're going to call the scene Open Blinds.
Now you'll want to remember your scene name as well as hit cloud services and hit save so that you can use this with voice assistance.
And we're then going to create that scene. So now we have a scene to open the blinds. Let's test it out. Oh, there we go. Just took a second, but now both of the blinds have opened, which is great. So now let's go and create another scene. So again, this is going to be manual, and the action is going to close down both of the blinds. And if you had other devices, I believe you could add other actions in this as well. So this scene is going to be called Close Blinds, and we're done. So let's create that. All right, let's try and add it to the remote. So we're going to go home, we're going to go to remote, and then here we're going to tap on the close button. And here we have the option to select manual scenes. So now we're going to do close blinds. And then for the fully open manual scene, we're going to say open blinds. Perfect. Now our remote has been set up with our different actions. Let's go ahead and open. That one's about done, and that one just started. So both of those are able to run. The delay is a little bit longer than I would expect, but I can see that improving over time. And now let's close. Just took a couple seconds there to start operating. So let's go ahead and create a scene that we can use with the NFC tag. Now for that, you will need to create a new scene that it's going to run. So we're going to do new scene, and here we're going to do NFC trigger, and then we need to pair this NFC tag. Okay, now we're going to add an action. So with this action, I'm going to fully open both of the blinds and create. So here you can see there are some manual scenes, and then this scene was created under auto because when I tap this, it's automatically going to happen. So let's try it. Tap. NFC is triggered. And now it's running the scene. Now it's really great that that scene operation has been added to include all the devices you have in one room. Now, one condition when creating a scene is you have the option to create a schedule. Now, this is really nice because it allows you to have things automate at sunrise or sunset. So if you want your blinds to automatically close at sunset, you could do this. And then here we can choose our city, and we could have it repeat once, or we could have it repeat daily. Now, this is better than creating it per device, because then is what I can do is I can add multiple devices to that action. So that will automatically close both of them instead of having to create two different schedules. So that's pretty cool. Now let's go ahead and set up the thermometer and hygrometer. This is a new updated model that I haven't seen before. Here's a sticky magnet so you can attach this to your wall. Here you can see it's tracking the temperature and the humidity. And then what we can do is here under scenes, I'm going to create a new scene, and we're going to add a condition. So you can do those three, but now that we've added that, we have the option to choose the meter for our condition. All right, so here, let's say if the temperature gets lower than 68 degrees, it then closes the blinds. So there we have the condition, and now we're going to choose it's going to close. Add the other one. All right, now let's go ahead and create that. And here you can see it's currently showing 67 degrees, but it is automatically closing the blinds. All right, now let's try the voice assistant. So here when connecting to the Amazon voice assistant, it did find both of our blinds. So we can tap on one of them to set up the device and the other one. And so now if we go into all devices, there we have our different blinds. So in the blind, we then have the option to open or close. So let's go ahead and close that blind. Great, now let's add these to a room. So under the devices tab, we're going to add this into the family room. We're going to edit, and then we're going to go through and select the bay window as well as the family room blind. So now those are both in here. They aren't grouped together, but you can individually adjust those. So it's closed right now. Let's go ahead and open it back up. Now let's try by voice. With the Amazon Assistant, you can address each blind by name. Alexa, close family room window. That time it actually worked pretty quick. It's been a little slow, so I'm glad to see that that was pretty instant. And you can also do both in the same room. So I have both of these in the same group in the Alexa app. Alexa, open family room. That one works. And that one started. So it's great to see that it has the full integration, and then I can also integrate this into different routines and everything that's available with Alexa. Now remember those different scenes that we created? You can also activate those from your different voice assistants. Alexa, activate close blinds.
A couple things share that name. Closed blinds and open blinds. Which one did you want?
Close blinds. That one worked, and then that one worked. So now that we've linked it to the Google Home app, we're going to refresh at the top of the device. And here you do see the option to set up two devices. but you can also go all the way down under the link to you, and here we now have our blinds available. So here, if we tap on it, it lets us then add it to a room. So we're gonna move this device into our family room. And now we have those both in our room. Now with Google Assistant, it's a little bit different story. You can address each blind by name. Hey Google, close family room window.
Got it. Closing the family room window.
Okay, great, that worked. But then if you try and do both in the same room, it is not able to do that. But then I figured out how to activate those scenes right from the Google Assistant. And instead of using open or close, you need to use activate. So, hey Google, activate close blinds.
All right, activating the closed blinds.
It then activates that scene that we set up in the Switchbot app, and there it closes the bay window, or there it closes the family room window, and then the bay window. So it's great to see that I can have full control of all the things I set up in the Switchbot app from the Google Assistant or from Amazon Alexa. Now the last thing to talk about is the battery life. So when setting these up, of course it comes with the solar panels, put those on the windows, and since installing them after 1 day, I have not seen the battery life increase at all. Now I do have these in a more shady part of the home. The sun never directly hits these windows, so that might be the problem. But let's go ahead and do a little bit of a battery test. I'm gonna go ahead and open and close these about 30 times. So open and close counts as 1 time, and then we'll see if the battery life changes. So the blind over here is at 61%, and the blind over here is at 70%. So let's see if that changes after 30 times. So after 30 times, this one over here is still at 61%, and this one over here did drop just a tiny bit to 69%. So I definitely think these will be able to last the 10 months that Switchbot says they will. And then of course, if you are getting any charging through the solar panel, you'll never have to worry about pulling them down and charging them or sticking the charger in. So great job, Switchbot.
Now I did test the solar panel and it did have to be in direct sunlight to show that it was charging. If something came in front of it or it was in the shade, it would not charge at all.
So overall, I'm very impressed with the new Switchbot Blind Tilt. I think it's a really fantastic device for the cost, especially if you can get it right now for the Kickstarter price. My only complaints are the way that it is mounted. It would be nice if there was a way to kind of make that a little more simplified and not on the face of the valance, but I think it actually performed very well. At first it was a little complicated, but I'm pretty happy with it, and I'm pretty sure this is the only smart blind that you can still do the tilt with, and it interacts and you don't have to recalibrate it every time. The other things of improvement could just be a little bit of speed when interacting with those scenes on the remote, or even with voice assistants. That does take a little bit of time, but I'm completely happy with how these are operating, how quickly they can open and close, and I really think they are going to last a long time with that battery life. So if you have any further questions about this device, please let me know in the comments below. And if you want to check them out as well, make sure you check the link in the description, as there's only a couple days left on the Kickstarter. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.